more. Got it?
I got your back.
All right. Two, we're going to reconvene public meeting, and we're going to say, Mr. Chris Chuck, student liaison. You can run.
Since the last board of Education meeting, RMHS has hosted representative visits from Drew University, William Patterson University, Universal Technical Institute, NJIT, Seton Hall University, Ramapo College, Fordham University, Stevens Institute of Technology, and Montclair State University. During the week of October 20th, the senior students participated in snacks and apps with their school counselors during their lunch periods to complete their common application for college. Students in Mrs. Won's Korean class participated in a hands-on cultural experience by making kimbap. The class enjoyed learning about traditional ingredients, rolling their own kimbap, and of course, tasting their delicious creations. The boys soccer team went to New Providence High School for the North 2 Group 1 sectionals and fell by the score of 3-0. They finished the season with an 8-12 record, 4th in the division, and will look to rebuild as we had 13 seniors. First team All-League, Aiden Lavin, Deanne Castrati, and Daniel Suna. Second team All-League, Luis Paredes, Christian Similio, and honorable mentions Gabriel Lopez. Our girls volleyball team went to the Mountain Lakes High School for the North 2 Group 1 sectionals and fell 3-2. We finished the season 12-12 and have a bright future ahead of us. We finished 5th in the division. First team All-League, Angelique Barbatos, Second team All-League, Anthea Sophagus. Honorable mention Isabella Ramos. The girls tennis team finished 8-8 on the season and 3rd in the division. We bring back the entire starting lineup and will look to compete for league championships next season. First team All-League, Jasmine Avila, Everett Brongo, and Nilafar Hatami. Second team All-League, Charlotte LeBron, and honorable mention Allison Escobar. The football team finished the season 1-8, with graduating over 20 seasons last season. This season was the beginning of the rebuild. We do have a bright future as we will have a talented young core coming up. Cross country finished the season at the sectional championships on November 1st. Our team ran well but did not have anyone advance. With only a few seniors on the team, we are looking to increase our numbers next year. Second team All-League, Ryan Toro and Elliot Pio. The girls soccer team finished the season 2-16 and made the first step toward the rebuild. With the new coach leading the girls, he's changing the culture and growing the numbers. With many first-time players on the team, we are looking to build for the future. Second team All-League, Esther Moyes, Aliana Alvarez, Stephanie Amador, Antonella Socali, and honorable mention Cyan Ruiz. Winter season. Richard will have a standalone varsity wrestling program for the first time in over 20 years. We have secured the Edgewater practice facility and will be competing on the road for the entire season. We have already booked multiple quad matches and dual matches. We will also be entering into in-season tournaments. Slocum, November 3rd and November 5th, Parent Conference. October 27th through November 14th, NJSLA, Adaptive Assessment, ELA and Math. November 15th and 22nd, Robotic Competition. November 18th, STEM Day at RMHS for our 8th grade honor students. November 20th, 8th grade field trip to PAX Amicus Castle Theater to watch Tales of Edgar Allan Poe. November 26th, Turkey Trot for all grade levels, fundraiser. For Bergen, our teachers at Bergen Boulevard recently completed their parent-teacher conferences. Thank you to all parents and guardians who took the time to meet with our teachers and discuss their child's progress. Throughout the month of November, we will be celebrating World Kindness Day. Our elementary guidance counselor, Ms. Corquez, will be visiting classrooms to read a story about kindness and lead students in a related activity. In addition to celebrating World Kindness Day, our students will be showing appreciation and gratitude by creating holiday and thank you cards for Richfield's first responders, teachers, and local nursing home residents. On Wednesday, November 26th, we will hold our annual Turkey Trot fundraiser. In support of the REPTA, please note that all staff and students will follow a single session schedule that day, with dismissal at 12:35 p.m. Schools will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 27th and 28th, in observance of Thanksgiving recess. Shiloh Academy had a wonderful and fun-filled October. During the week of October 20th, we participated in School Violence Awareness Week, where students participated in a variety of meaningful activities, including celebrating our SLEO 3 officer, Officer Paul, wearing orange for Unity Day, and engaging in the classroom read-alouds of Enemy Pie and Tease Monster that promoted kindness and respect. The following week, we hosted our annual pumpkin patch on October 28th and our annual Halloween parade and sing-along on October 31st, both of which brought our school community together for some festive fall fun. Looking ahead to November, our focus turns to gratitude and kindness. We will be celebrating World Kindness Day with a special classroom meetings and launch our gratitude challenge, which includes creating holiday thank you cards for first responders and creating classroom thankful trees to showcase what our students and staff appreciate most. We will also be participating in the REPTA Turkey Trot on November 26th and adding a fun twist by making it Balloons Over Broadway themed. That's all.
From that point, we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
All right, just a brief update this month. We don't have any presentations for you. First item I'd like to share with the board members are our budget guideline for 2026-27 school budget, which is next school year. We're already working on it. These are the 15 guidelines that we're using to develop our budget. I'll read them out to the public. Number one is develop a budget calendar, which is the second document. Align allocations with enrollment projections. That simply means we don't just say if we have 5 first grades this year, we'll have 5 second grades next year. If the enrollment declines to a point where you only need 4 sections, then that's what we'll budget for. If the enrollment goes up and we need 6 sections, we'll consider that as well. So we have something called number 3, adhere to administrative cost limits. These are established by the Department of Education, how much you can spend in your administrative lines in the aggregate. So we will adhere to those. We will preserve programs and services to the greatest extent possible. Again, these are our guidelines. We won't receive our state aid allocation until late February, possibly early March this year because there's new government coming in. We want to maintain our different reserve accounts, which are important for the long-term health of the district. Capital reserve, tuition reserve, maintenance reserve, things of that nature. We want to maintain the fund balance to the maximum allowed by law. We want to support administrator and teacher professional growth. We apply, number 8, apply zero-based budgeting practices. That just means we start every budget cycle with a 0 in every line. We don't just say we spent $3,800 here last year, we'll start off with 38. We'll look at the 3,800, we'll start with 0, and we'll say, how do we spend it this year? Do we need more, do we need less? We'll fund capital improvements and maintenance. That's an ongoing issue in the district. We have some buildings that are very old, Bergen Boulevard specifically. Parts of Slocum are very old. They need constant maintenance, constant upkeep. Number 10, this is a very tricky one. Evaluate health benefit costs. That is something that is going up dramatically year over year over year. It's been in the newspaper pretty much every day for the last 2 months. You may have, if you're not a teacher, you might have noticed your own healthcare costs going up dramatically. We are not immune to that. That's a major cost driver in our budget. It's something we have to be very conservative with. Secondly, number 11, transportation costs. That is another area that's growing far faster than the overall rate of inflation. Our transportation costs, when we outsource, we really have to spend a lot of money to send students to out-of-district schools or occasionally sports or field trips or whatnot. So transportation costs are skyrocketing. Special education related services, OT, PT, speech, those costs go up dramatically every year. We meet monthly with our Learning Center programs, and we analyze how we're doing there. What does our enrollment look like month to month, year to year? Do we have new programs that are growing in Learning Center? Do we have new programs that are consolidating, perhaps? We look at our long-term capital needs. That's not maintenance, those are major projects like we did Willis Field last year. Those are things that get planned out typically 1 year in advance. The retaining wall on the side of the building is another example of that. And the last one is transparency and stakeholder engagement. This is why we read this out at these meetings. We share with the board in a public meeting. People from the public have comments, they're allowed to make their public comments at every board meeting. Second is our calendar, preliminary budget calendar. This is about when we'll be doing all of our budget meetings over the next few months. Remember, our budget doesn't start till July 1st, but it gets approved by the board on 2 occasions, once in March, and then once in late April, early May, depending how the calendar falls. Anybody in the board have any questions about 26-27 budget? And like I said before, there's a new governor coming in, so it's possible the state aid allocations will be delayed by
At least a couple of weeks.
which gives us less time to finish our budget for the preliminary budget, which will be in middle of March. Second piece is our chronic absenteeism update. We had stipended positions at the last board meeting for some administrators in our buildings to check up. They are doing that. They are sending letters home. They are making phone calls. They are meeting with families. If you are getting these calls, don't be mad at us. We're just doing our job. We need our students to be in school. We have some students who have already been absent 10 times this year. It's not even Thanksgiving. All right? Some of those kids have been sick, and we understand that. Others are just taking a day on Monday and a day on Thursday and the following Tuesday. It's kind of random, just like days off, which is something we're really looking to kick into gear. So we'll be updating the board with more specific numbers in a couple of weeks.
And for those at home, that was paid for entirely by grants. It's those salaries, those stipend positions were
Okay,
from grants.
let's move on to committee reports. Education committee.
Not too much going on, but we have some information. We met earlier this week. First we talked about the NJ SBA workshop and the mentoring presentation that was delivered there. There were about 30 to 40 people in attendance, and we received good feedback and a couple of emails requesting information regarding that. We talked about this previously, but earlier, students had taken and the literacy benchmark parent notification. Parents received the beginning of the year notification prior to parent conferences. Then we have NJSLA testing, because they had to add an extra A for us. Testing will conclude on November 14th, and there's some information about a gaming club. RMHS is starting a pilot club to assess interest for future. I'm sorry?
Esports.
What did I say?
Esports, electronic sports. That's technically what we should be calling it. I don't want it to drive you crazy, but that was part of
Okay,
it.
no problem. And then also the food insecurity infographics were attached. Can you do that? They've been going on in the email. So, and then again, what Dr. Anwar was just talking about, the chronic absenteeism. It's like I just said, absenteeism.
Yes.
And then the district calendar that he mentioned as well. Right. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Ms. Navarrete. Operation, Mr. Jacob.
Good evening, Mr. President. Anyway, on November 10th, we had an operations and finance meeting, and I'd like to report out with respect to facilities. Slocum's entrance doors by the gym courtyard and the boys and girls bathroom partitions replacements have been complete. On the ESEP program, Last week, the public service witness tests were completed at Slocum and the high school. Both buildings passed inspection and are now in the final stages of monitoring. Project final closeout should be within the next couple of weeks. And I just want to take a moment to thank Dr. Animo and our BA Kelvin, and also Central Office for great fiscal responsibility, because the preliminary numbers for our audit will allow the district to allocate funds to its capital reserve, tuition reserve, and most important in these tough times, emergency reserve. Final figures will be presented at a later date when the audit has been finalized and approved. As Dr. Animo said, we're beginning the preparation for the budget, and we have to take into consideration, in other words, all these increased costs, and I have tremendous confidence in central office that they will always step up and make the test. Now, with respect to legislative issues, the Senate Community and Urban Affairs Committee met on Monday, November 10th, and approved the following bill relevant to boards of education. Sharing pilot revenue with schools. Now, to translate, that is payment in lieu of taxes, pilot. All right, and the S3915 would require municipalities to share certain revenues from payment in lieu of taxes agreements with school districts unless the municipality enters an agreement with the school district and the entity receiving the pilot to provide one or more special projects for the school district. All right, that's my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Ms. Hoffman. The BOE Borough Liaison.
Yep. So our liaison committee has not met since the last meeting because with the election and then the League of Municipalities conference, we haven't had a time to meet. So our next meeting is between now and the next meeting, our next committee meeting. However, the mayor and council did announce at their most recent meeting this Monday that at the next mayor and council meeting, which I believe is in December, again because of that league convention happening in the middle, they will be recognizing all of the fall sports athletes from the Richfield schools. And when our students get recognized, it's always really nice. They dress very professionally, and it's just a nice heartwarming moment. So if you're around, please consider stopping in at least to the first half of the mayor council meeting, and then usually they let people go after the presentations, so we can see them all recognized at the same time. It's just a really nice cluster. The National Honor Society will be working with the little libraries in town on a card project to send cards overseas to soldiers who are not able to make it home for the holidays. So it was nice that the school was able to take part in a community-driven initiative. And that initiative is actually concluding at the annual tree lighting on December 3rd, Columbus Park, 6 p.m., where our 4th grade will be showcasing some of their songs. So please come out. There's free hot chocolate. The hot chocolate line has been revamped so that it will be more of a, like, grab a cup as you pass by rather than a wait in line. They're trying to kind of mitigate the crowds by revamping that. And I personally, not on behalf of the board, have requested more microphones so we can hear the 4th graders louder than the speakers.
We've done it here, yeah.
Because everybody else always speaks very loudly, and I want more microphones on the kids. So that's my big thing. And the Willis Field fee schedules for anybody who knows somebody that might be looking to rent the field, which is a shared property between the town and the school. The new fees for the fee schedule do go into effect January of 2026. Right now we're still under the old ones. So all of those new applications are for the new amounts. Have we gotten any further applications other than the 2?
We've just gotten 2.
So we're still at the 2 applications. But if anybody knows anybody, especially as the World Cup comes closer, you know someone looking for soccer space, have them rent it from us instead of somewhere else. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. Mr. Morelli, you got anything on international yet?
Nothing.
And again, we're back to Committee of the Whole on Policy 5756. Committee of the Whole means all 7 board members need to be here to discuss 5756. Unfortunately, we're not all here. So I apologize again. I'm ready when everybody's here. So we will talk about it.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask, yes.
I was gonna say, so, I mean, we received the agenda only a few days prior. Like, I know I was asked if I was gonna be attending before the agenda came out. Is it just that,
I did make a comment 2 meetings ago, I think it was. My team over there, they let me know. So, about 2 meetings, I said that it was going, until we do it,
right,
it is going to be on every month until we have a full board to discuss what we said we were going to discuss.
okay. So, yeah, my question was like, was the absence known in advance for the particular
To
person?
my knowledge, it was only found out today.
Okay.
I could share because I spoke to Theo maybe an hour ago. So it was his wife was delayed, so he couldn't leave the children so long. So it was urgent that he had to stay with his children. So because he
Don't
called
you
me.
think it should have been communicated to the board?
I don't know if he told the phone. I mean, I don't.
Because
Maybe
if-
I'm hoping I'm not saying anything.
Again, I think it was communicated today. I understand, we all have issues,
Like an hour.
we all have things that come up. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We said we would do a committee of the whole. I can't do it yet, but we will.
No, I'm not here to defend him. I'm just adding some context to.
No, I understand. But we're gonna talk about it, so be ready. One meeting, you're all gonna be here, so we're gonna do it. Okay? So, on that note, I'd like a motion to move in public comments and questions about resolution and discussion items only.
Motion?
Second. Lord, if you come up to the front, name and address, it's resolution and discussion items. So anything that's on the agenda or that was brought up in any of the reports.
Teal Hoffman, 823 Linden Avenue, Ridgefield, New Jersey.
You gonna record it?
Okay, right there.
I think you need to like tilt it down a little.
Here, take those. I have a big mouth, nobody needs that. You got it? It's true, I do it.
So I have a couple of questions on agenda items. I believe it's 015 under Saturday happenings. There's a cooking class listed, and I was just curious because I know many months ago there was some discussion about a culinary class, but it was determined that the school doesn't have the state required facilities. So I'm curious as to how we're running a cooking class with little kids. I also have a question about policy P, which is the new AI generated policy. And as in the past, if we could just get a paragraph summary, like I don't
Like a
need
summary.
the whole summary, because when you do make revisions, especially when they're verbiage revisions, you can't tell what the revision is when you look on the website. Like, this is a new policy, so you can look it up. But if there were
Let me make a
changes,
suggestion to people. You know how when we get the big policy changes from Strauss Esme, there's usually an overview in with that for the sake of, let's say, I'm gonna use Ms. Hoffman's word, transparency. For the sake of transparency, let's try and put that overview in there. I know it's adding work, but I don't care. I'm just saying, I don't care.
So we did add the policy to the website this month. There was no revisions, there's a brand new policy.
right,
So there's no strike-throughs or cross-outs or deletions.
But we do get those,
Completely,
usually you get that side memo with some kind of overview that, you know,
right.
let's just say in layman's terms as opposed to not like party of the first part, party of the second, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So could we look at, okay?
Yep.
I'm gonna say to you because you're gonna direct somebody to type it up, so. Thank you.
and with
Thank you.
regards to the cooking?
Yeah. What was saying, Jim?
We'll have to look into that, I'm not, off the top of my head, I don't know what the big.
Instead of having a slogan,
Maybe it's like putting snacks or something together.
I mean, cooking might be the wrong term, it
Could
might
be.
be like,
Yeah, the library's cooking. Yeah, the library's toddler cooking class was assembling stuff.
because I can see it happening here, there's space here that they can do it. I don't remember any space over there that they can do it. So it can't be, it's probably worded incorrectly,
okay.
to your point.
I'm just curious, if we can't have a class on cooking and culinary, how can we offer it for Saturday with little kids?
Alright, so you guys will have an answer?
Yeah, we'll get back.
Thank you.
Wednesday, gonna do.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Always bring those up. Thank you.
Desserts, cold dessert.
And,
Can I just make a comment?
well, it's for them to make a comment.
Okay.
Is this about,
Yeah, I have 2 copies of the AI policy with me, because I have from both meetings, so I could just pass it down if anybody wants to look at it now, if anybody was unable to access it. But I didn't know if I was able to share,
It's on our website, but if
Okay.
somebody wants a hard copy, it's.
I mean, if
I
anybody,
can look at the policy, cause it's a new
if
policy.
anybody wants to see it, it's here, you're
So
welcome
go get it in
to
your.
grab it.
It's really when there's revisions, as an outsider or a non-board member or a non-administrator, I can't tell what the revisions are, because there's no
even
crossing.
though it's, you posted it on the website, but generally in the beginning it's not posted, so we approve it. I didn't read that whole thing, I'll read it for the second. Alright, so motion to close public comments and questions on resolution and discussion matters. Okay, I got first, I gotta sit down. Very low, you know, I'm old, I can't hear that one. But anyway. Okay, good. Alright, any board member comments on resolution or discussion item?
In the minutes, it appeared like we took a roll call, and then it was like who was present, and then it said the motion carries. I don't know what motion it was in reference to, because we usually don't make a motion for roll call.
No, we
So,
didn't.
today we didn't. Today you just said, can we have a
We
roll
didn't
call?
make a
please?
motion yet for a roll call vote.
No, I mean for attendance at the
Oh,
start, like,
I apologize.
right at the
I
pledge.
misunderstood what you meant.
Yeah, so right in the beginning, I wasn't sure what, it's like the first section of the minutes. I don't know what is being referenced, and it says I voted yes, but I think I just said here or present.
I'll look into it.
Also at the top of the minutes, it says in attendance, and all 7 of us are listed. And then underneath of that, after the motion carried, it said Mr. Pristolius and Mr. Boric were absent. So that's a little confusing, if we could just maybe clean up that. I didn't see any other errors.
To Ms. Hopkins' point, it would not be the first time that the minutes were incorrect because of copy and pasting. So, it's happened before, it shouldn't happen anymore. No, it's basically, when I brought it up in the past, the reasoning I got was, oh, well, they copy and paste from one, to the other. No more.
Yeah.
Because then you have these issues come up and it's really no reason they should come up.
Yeah, those were the only ones I saw. I did go through all of the minutes just to make sure, because it was like something right at the top, but that was the only thing I caught.
No, it was a good thing you brought it. Because like I said, it hasn't been the first time, but let's make sure we don't do it anymore. Okay, anybody else?
I have another comment.
Go ahead, because you're the one who talked about it.
I'm just really excited to see that we have a couple different grant approvals and grants coming through. I saw like the Parks to Schools application and 1 or 2 like donors choose and things like that. So it's really nice to see that the schools are very actively seeking out all of these things to keep the budget whole after we lost funding. And I just want to say good job to, I know we don't have professional grant writers, so good job to Dr. DePass, Dr. Anamone, and to Kelvin, because I know you guys are working hard to find that stuff and to put it out to the schools. And it's exciting to be like, oh, I wonder if we're gonna get applications to go to national parks and this and that. And by we, I mean they, but you know, it's exciting stuff, so.
It's Dr. DePass, Mr. Hischiano, and Karen Dovia. Let's get all the credit.
Karen does a lot.
So good job to that team.
I had
because
nothing to do with those.
That's in addition to your regular duties, so thank you.
With those.
So on that note, board members, remember, if you come across any leads on grants having to do with mentoring, I know Mr. Jacobs is working on legislation for mentoring, but mentoring has been successful. Mentoring was at the board convention, but we need to keep funding it as we go down the road.
And for
So
the people at
anybody
home,
comes
if you
across
see any grants on
leads
anything,
getting
please send it over.
funding for mentoring, please bring it up. I'm gonna challenge you, Mr. John. You see any leads in there, you let us know. See, that's your new committee. Okay, thank you. Let's talk about, okay, we did board member comments. Let's talk about old business. Any old business anybody wants to bring up? Ms. Hoffman, I'm so glad you're here tonight.
I don't know if it would strictly count as old business, because it wasn't on a previous, like, separate agenda item, but I just
Is
wanted
it
to,
something you brought up previously?
yes.
And it's old
So
business?
we attended the workshop, Mr. Jacobs, Dr. Animone, Dr. DePass, Kelvin, and I attended the workshop, end of October, October 20th through 23rd. I was only there 2 of the 4 days, but it was really positive. We found a lot of good programs. Some of them had free follow-up workshops that I know I forwarded along, and I heard about some grants, which I forwarded along. Unfortunately, they weren't about mentoring, but they were good things to look
I'm
into.
sure you will now, so it's okay.
So I just kind of wanted to, in the public session, ask if any of you wanted to like bring up anything that you saw or really liked from it. I know you mentioned that your presentation went well and we got a lot of outreach from other schools. Was there any other discussion anybody wanted to have about a workshop? I thought it was really, really great and informative. So.
Let's go. Okay.
Mr. Jay?
Well, I have to piggyback on what Ms. Hopkins said, and to your point about mentoring. All right, Dr. DePass, Dr. Cantoriano, the model works. I was part of the presentation, and what was nice is that we were getting inquiries out of Bergen County, different counties. So the tentacles are spreading. Now, with respect to funding, going forward, how do I say this? I'll be in a little better position to increase my advocacy for the 2 bills we have before the Senate Education and the Assembly Education Committee, and I'm looking forward to try to ramp that up. So, cross your fingers, but I think we'll be in better shape.
I think we're gonna challenge you to ramp it up.
Okay, well,
Take that challenge?
I'll take the challenge.
Good.
All right?
You knew the answer to that.
What's that?
I said, he already knew the answer to that.
Yeah, when he gets done, he's gonna look more like me, but anyway.
Oh, please, tell me about that. What's the best? All right, let me wait for the next, I have an announcement, but I'll wait for the next meeting. That's about it, so I think we're in good shape, but in interim, as Ms. Hopkins said, in other words, if anybody has any inroads or any connections, it would behoove them to get us the money, because this is a proven product. All right? And it could become, if this bill passes both houses, the next step is that the Commissioner of Education writes a report to the governor, and this could become standard in New Jersey on the good work of the Richfield Board of Education and the district.
Good.
Just to
Thank you, Mr.
piggyback on
Jacob.
that, we have been provisionally approved for another grant that's not on the agenda today, because it has not been officially approved yet at the county level, but we believe we won $4,200 grant for something called the confidence deposits, $2,100 for the high school, $2,100 for Slocum. We're waiting on the county to get full approval at their next county commissioners meeting, and then we'll approve it here in December for January.
For the public, can you just describe what confidence closets consist of?
So it's essentially a closet full of toiletries, essentials that perhaps some families are struggling to purchase now.
And hygiene products.
Hygiene products, perhaps some clothing, and we'll use the money to purchase that. We'll have it in a discrete closet here where students will have access to high school or middle school or local for probably starting in January, I would imagine. Fingers crossed.
Sounds good. So, could I have a resolution for approval of the following consent items, J1 through Q1?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Sorry.
Mr. Lord?
Yes.
Mr. Custodius is absent. Mr. Grippa?
Yes.
Ms. Hoffman?
Yes, but I would like to recuse out of an abundance of caution on bill number 2299 in the November bill list. No, it's for fire inspections. I'm unsure if my relative conducted the fire inspection, so out of an abundance of caution.
That's it, item one.
Mr. Jacobs?
All right, I say aye on everything, but I say no on the attendance. I'd ask for a correction and pick it up again,
Okay.
what Ms. Hoffman talked about. Until it's correct.
Mr. Morilla?
Yeah.
Ms. Narvaez?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Let's shift to the back. Okay. Could I have a motion to move into public comments and questions about any item?
Motion. Second.
Got it. Statements made by the individual participants are limited to a duration of 5 minutes unless otherwise announced at the beginning of the discussion. The board urges large groups to select one person to represent them. The board reminds these individuals who take the opportunity to speak to please step up to the microphone, identify yourselves by name and address. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks all members of the public to be courteous, mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, the board discourages comments regarding students and employees, will not respond to such comments. Please note that after the public discussion is closed by the president, no other questions or comments from the audience will be permitted. I knew that's what you were waiting for.
I was waiting for it. It's embarrassing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on.
it's really stiff. You gotta like
There
hold
we
it.
go. Trying to firm it up a little bit. There we go.
Come on, dude, you're a communications
Yes,
man.
I have communications manager. All right, we're good. So, good evening, Board of Ed, but I'm representing the Richmond Moore High School marching band today over a problem of our Halloween performance we had that we did not have on October 31st, which was Friday. 2 weeks prior, we received an email from Dr. Nather saying that we were not allowed to have it because we needed board approval. I looked at policy numbers 5850 and policy number 5880, and none of them listed anything of the restrictions that we had for the trip. It listed it does need board approval if we take a bus. In my 6 years doing this and 2 years as the program assistant director, we have not taken a bus. And the truck is driven is already board approved by our director, Ms. Ji-Won Cha. The big thing I was wondering is why this need, I would like to answer why does this need board approval if there's no policy regarding this trip. I checked last year on every single, I really did spend all this time, I'm very committed to this topic. I spent every agenda for last year, not one of them mentioned the Halloween performance being board approved. It was between principal and principal, and I'm very confused why. I emailed her back, I got an answer that was not good, and I am a little shaky right now because this means a lot to me. Our numbers from 2018, my first year, were 135 kids. We're down to 32 kids in this program. This is our biggest recruiting program ever, and I would like a little more participation from the Slocum head of music, Mr. Dave Crum, and Mr. Matt Tracy. They are the board, they are the music heads, and I would like more participation from them. And Mr. Yang, I talked to him in the summer and at the beginning of the year, and he loved the idea. He always gives an approval every single year. And I want more help from Mr. Crum and Mr. Tracy, because I'm a full student at Montclair State University. I gave a tour this morning. I came right from school. That's why there's red underneath me right now. G1 is a full-time teacher, not here. And we also have a full-time nurse on our staff. I think we need more participation from them because I do find it a little bit unacceptable, especially since our numbers are going down. Mr. Matt Tracy was the director for 35 years, and he's just disappeared. I can say that right now, and that's really all I have, but I would like that question answered. What do we do when there's no policy, and why can't it just be approved from principal to principal, which it has for the past 40 years?
Fair question.
Very interesting.
Okay. Number one, if they didn't need board approval, can you please look into this?
Yeah, we're looking into it for sure, I haven't noted.
Like, can you email him?
Do you have a school email address?
Yeah, I have a Montclair email. No, they deactivate your school one. The second you walk that stage, they turn it off. I lost mine the next
I mean,
day.
as a coach, all right?
I have a personal email, yes, that I use
So
for that.
we should probably get you a district email.
Because I'll
Well,
tell you
your
from.
emails, if they have your contact info here, I'm sure I can get it.
Okay.
Yeah, before you leave.
Okay.
Because to my knowledge, I can only go by what I'm used to, and I've been doing this a lot of years. A lot of years. I don't, and I could be wrong, but I don't remember ever having to approve this. So I am curious to why.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is, I have to go to them to do the follow-up because we're not supposed to do that. But I would also say, to his point, if there's people in the program and they need help, could we have the administrators?
That's what we're here for.
I'm not saying you, but like Mr. Yang, they work for Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang needs to have those conversations. Okay? I'm big on delegating.
I don't know, I see it.
So, Mr. Yang needs to have those conversations because he needs answers. So, we need, and then we need,
Yeah, it's a high school issue as well.
Also, high school.
yeah, I didn't get there.
Hey!
Alright, and could you find out why she said it needed board approval when it didn't?
I mean, in general, it's better to have board approval than not, and just in general.
But you wanna talk about, everybody brings up in one way or another past practice.
Yeah.
So if past practice has been, there was no need for a board approval, I just wanna understand why all of a sudden you're putting it on us,
I'll find that myself.
okay? There could be a legitimate reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
It
Is it
could be a
just-
legitimate
yeah.
reason, so I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt, there could be a legitimate reason,
Yeah.
but I'd like to find out about it.
Yeah, there was something that was implemented in August that she said was already fine, and then 2 weeks before, because we have to send in our full schedule to our principal.
Okay,
Performances
they're gonna
and-
find out,
Yeah, that's fine.
he'll email you,
Okay.
but he's also gonna let me know.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Yep.
we'll talk about it as the next, either in the committee meetings or the next, okay?
I'll get your contact info from the main office.
All right.
Sounds
Thank
like
you.
you have it already.
Because you could even, because we're still supposed to have that Board of Ed and Borough Liaison, we could slide it into that committee meeting, because it winds up being, 'cause they went to Slocum, so that winds up being like a community event. So I'm stretching the banner of the committee a little bit, but I'd say we could talk about it during that committee meeting. Okay.
Hopefully it's resolved before.
But you know tomorrow I'll ask you how's it going and what you find out. Thank you.
All right.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Here she comes.
I didn't expect that, but okay. Am I loud enough? Yes, right? Yes. I don't
You
want
like
to fight
me.
with it. Yeah, we project. Noreen Bradhold, 2 Douglas Court in Sussex. I feel like I live at the high school. For those of you who don't know, I am association president this year. So I just wanted to communicate some things to you that the association is doing, because we're doing great things in our schools every day. Chris is doing a phenomenal job communicating what's happening in the schools, but like a couple of key things. So one, I don't know if you're aware, our engineering by design class, just did a Halloween project. They designed, I feel like I'm getting thrown off by this microphone. Let me go away from it. They just did a Halloween project where they designed costumes for students. For kids. The kids love the costumes. Miss Jean Kirschenbaum took them through the process of like measuring kids, designing, problem solving, doing a million steps. And my kids were recipients personally. They loved them. It was amazing. We were talking about grants. I don't know if you're all aware that the NJEA has a PEP initiative to provide grants for community-based projects. One that we have been doing was the trunk or treat. We secured $400 to pass out candy to have a happy Halloween for our Ridgefield kids. Mr. Siegel is running the student council homecoming dance. I'm trying to squeeze everything into 5 minutes, guys. He's running the student council homecoming dance. We secured $2,950 to fund the dance entirely. The DJ, the food, the decorations, everything, we're funding. So that was phenomenal. Yes, you're welcome. It was great. And what else did I want to tell you? Something else. Oh, we had a student and family recently impacted at the high school by the crazy storms that we've had. In 4 days, our staff raised over $1,000 to help that family. So that was phenomenal.
That was the homeless with the tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Over $1,000, 4 days.
Thank you.
So, we want to support our community. And then finally, on a personal note, I want to thank Dr. Anamone, Dr. DePass, Mr. Luciano, and Dr. Nalder for coming in to speak to tomorrow's teachers. We had several Q&A sessions with them about school leadership, about school governance. They were very gracious with their time, with their attention. Chris is in the class. The students said it was a great experience. So thank you personally for me. That's it. Quick, under 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're good. I'm waiting. Anybody else from over there? Dolly Sisters, what about you? Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh, Dolly Sisters is great. Yeah.
I like the Dolly Sisters.
Hi.
Oh, yes, Ms. Hoffman.
Lisa Hoffman, 823 Linden Avenue. I just heard that the gentleman didn't have an email address. Just out of an abundance of caution, God forbid anything ever gets Oprah, they go into your personal account. And not just you, anybody, and I'm sure it's an oversight. Maybe we could just make sure, and I understand that not everybody is a faculty member who is a coach or an assistant. Maybe we could just double check that so that we don't have any situations where something happens, their personal stuff gets Oprah, and then there's a lawsuit. I worked in a town where that happens. Kind of piggybacking off what she said, I do want to share. I run the Happening in Richfield page, and there's another page as well that kind of focuses on some of the Board of Ed stuff that is shared by you guys. For those who don't know, who might be here, and I'm going to face this way, but Slocum has been raising money for the food pantry. I know that there's a coat drive. There's a lot of stuff that the student councils, both, I know Chris is part of the student council at the high school and at Slocum. They're doing a lot of good in the community. So just hats off to you. I know sometimes people get up here, they complain. You're doing good stuff, you're getting money, you're finding ways to fundraise for yourselves. That's not just asking for people, for money on the street corners. The faculty's going out, they're finding grants that Lori talked about. Like, good is being done, and I think that should be celebrated, especially because it is coming back into the community and helping the community. I just want to take a minute to recognize that.
Thank you. We good? Just checking. I know you're comfortable in that chair. I just want to make you get up and up. Okay. You want to come back? No, everybody else talks, so you can come back.
Well, it wasn't an agenda item.
It's all right. It could be on anything.
She's saying
Okay.
on the agenda items.
At my age, everything runs together.
Twyla Hoffman, 823 Linden Avenue. First, Veterans Day just passed, so I'd like to thank our veterans who serve both on the board and anybody in the audience or staff who are veterans. Thank you for your service. And secondly, just to reiterate what Ms. Hoffman said, the little libraries in town are running a cooperative drive collecting cards for servicemen, so I encourage everyone, and if you're a teacher, maybe your students, the student council perhaps, to donate cards to send to overseas soldiers who can't make it home for the holidays. We have very simple rules: unsealed envelopes, and no politics.
I wish I had those rules. Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. Anybody else? Going once? What? See, you scared me for a second.
Speak out.
Big, yeah. All right, so can I get a motion to close public comments and questions to the meeting?
Motion. Second.
Good? This should be fun. New business.
So first I have a question about the email address that came up for coaches or clubs or things like that. Do we have any current policies on like who gets email address? Because we pay per email address. I know it's like a minimal amount, but
We don't have a board policy on that.
No.
But
We don't.
I think we should have one for staff members, whether they're, adjuncts or full-time teachers.
yeah, I was just wondering if there was like an existing.
Myself, and so hold on,
Yeah, and especially because of some of the cyber training, email is one of the ways that threats get in. So into our network. So I just wanted to bring that up, and thank you for making a note of that. I also have new business that I wanted to talk about the attendance policy for board members again. I know we've revisited it a couple times, but I personally feel a little frustrated having to bring, several pages of notes each time for the committee of a whole, and then it doesn't happen. So I would like to open it for discussion and maybe, amend pieces of it. If you need to start with a motion, then I make a motion that we add, in addition to not missing 3 in a row, that we have a yearly cap of 7 meetings. Because by my count, we have an average of 15 meetings a year, so 7 would be about 50% missing. So I make that motion. If anybody would like to second that motion.
Would anybody like to second that motion? Second? Sure. All right, good for you. Okay. So to be clear, there's already a policy through school boards about board members missing 3 public meetings in a row. I think to understand what Lori's saying, it's not about 7 meetings in a row. It's talking about if you're a board member and if there's, say, 15 meetings a year, if you miss 7 of them, how effective are you as a board member? That's what you're driving at, right?
Right.
So that would be, let's take a few years back. I will tell you, we had board members, some very notable board members in the public eye, that missed a lot of meetings. That's why, before this board changed again, we had put in the policy, or we took out the virtual policy. Because if you're virtual, you could be at the public part of the meeting, but you can't be in executive session because we don't know with your laptop who's listening to the executive session.
Right.
So that makes you not effective at that meeting. So we said no more virtual attendance at the meeting. And we did say we're going to stick to, if somebody is absent 3 in a row, 3 in a row is going to dictate that we're going to bring you up on we're going to bring you up about being removed because you're not coming to the meeting.
Right.
And let me go on my spiel one more second. So the thing is, in reality, you can miss a meeting, you miss a meeting, you come for one. Miss a meeting, you come for the next one. What good work are you going to do? This has been the argument for years. And there's been more than one board member previously that abused this. And it was brought up in public. I'm not going to throw any names because they're not around anymore, so I'm not going to do that. But I can tell you for a fact, it happened. So what Lori's trying to bring up is, do we amend the policy because do we want effective board members? Or do we want to sit here and be like, bad example. All right, Ted had family issues. He couldn't be here tonight. I get it. But unfortunately, the last meeting, we couldn't do it either. If we say we're going to do a committee of the whole, listen, I just went back to work. I got home 20 minutes before I came here. So, if I can go with my little crazy ankle and come here just to make sure, everybody needs to commit to being at the meeting because that's how we're going to be productive and that's how we're going to get things done. Now I'm going to shut up. Now go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Hoffman, I'd just like a point of clarity. So in other words, you're saying establishing two standards. All right, I missed 3 meetings in a row. The board takes it up and I am accountable. All right, but let's assume I start playing games and I miss 2, come back 1, miss 2. Then you're talking about the cum over a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Triggers again. All right, thank you. I support that.
Yeah, that's basically what.
Sorry.
Okay.
We have an open motion on the floor, so we have to deal with the open motion before we can make a different motion to reopen any public comments.
It was second. No, your motion was second.
Right. So, I made the motion, it got a second. We're having a discussion, but the motion was to have a vote on it. So we have to finish the vote before we can make a different motion to reopen public comments.
That's fine. But we were discussing so we could go with the vote. Anybody else want to say anything? Okay.
To your point, when you said it is kind of a question of whether or not we want effective board members, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer because we're representing people who elected us. So we should absolutely be doing our due diligence and trying to be as effective as possible for the good of the school to allow them to do their jobs, and us being here to follow up on those comments and follow up on issues that get raised helps the profile of the school. It helps the operations of the school to run smoothly. So.
And I understand. I'm not talking about, because we did speak about this, just to say, I had a time in my life, had cancer, I was out, I had to get things removed, I was out, I missed a lot of meetings. That's circumstances are a little bit over and above. So I'm not saying like if things happen, God forbid, to anybody, that, right away we're going to try and get rid of them. That's a different story. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's a constant, not here to do your job, this is our job. Grant you, we volunteer for this job. We don't get paid for this job, but it is our job. So we need to be effective.
So I would be willing to amend my motion, and I don't know if you still want to second it, to say unexcused, because we already still have the provision about the excusal for hospitalizations. So we want to say 7 unexcused absences. Are you comfortable still seconding that, or?
Lori,
That,
Now it starts a little bit.
define unexcused.
that's the thing. You have to define unexcused,
Define
because unexcused can be,
Because
there's a lot of
it
interpretation, there's a lot of gray
might not necessarily always
area.
be that, right? It could be a last minute situation that you come across.
Right.
And it's not gonna be able to be the same concept of what you really want to accomplish with that, I feel like. Like I can agree, but then if we're, we have to look at it also like what do we say and say, well, but if this
or if it was a, you know, like if there's an illness or some, you know, other things in there, I think.
I believe the last physical printout we got of I think that was the January meeting. We reviewed the attendance policy at the start, like at the reorganization. So it did specify that excused absences would only be for the issues of hospitalization or like serious illness as determined by the board president and superintendent.
Even so, you're not here doing your job, regardless of what the reason is. Okay.
Right, so your saying your definition, what's in the policy.
Right, so it's in coherence with the policy that we're just adding, as Mr. Jacobs said, we're just adding a second condition that it's 3 in a row or 7 total within 1 calendar year because our terms go from January to December. So.
And technically, we did, I remember people that weren't here.
It's mostly to avoid the skip, present, skip, present. It's mostly to avoid any
Ralph knows
abuse
what
of
I'm
that.
talking about, because we've been around a while. So, I don't have a problem with amending the policy, but if you wanna bring, you guys, we seconded it, so we can bring it up for a vote. So, to amend the policy to add 7
total or
annual,
Do you have to,
7 or more annual, or something like that.
question?
You
before
good?
Can I ask you something really quickly?
Go ahead.
But just to go back, what would be the wording of the absenteeism? Like, you know, when you want.
The excuse.
Yes, like
the
how
excuse
do
would be-
we handle, like, is it, you know,
What's
you
in the
have to
policy
do
to begin with?
24 hours before, or is there a time frame, or is there an emergency? Oh, I can't show up. You know, like those. That's where I feel like you'll see vague situations.
Again, it's already in the policy, there's a definition to excuse.
Right, but
What is the definition?
I'm sorry?
What's the definition again? You mentioned for those excusing it?
Do you know the policy number? I can just look it up right now and read it to everybody.
Be the bylaw, so that's the 0.
But in the policy, it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I have to look it up on the website. I didn't have it on me, so.
maybe we should just, if we're gonna do it, maybe table or reassess. If we're 100% ready to really make a decision.
Well, you're looking to amend the policy, but it still has to go through a first and second reading, no?
So it would be a first read, yeah, so the
we're
first
gonna
reading would
address
be,
these issues, I guess, at that time. And those things can come into the policy during the first or second reading.
And we have to show them a first reading.
Right.
We can explain about that.
so, would anybody have issue to doing the first reading and do the due diligence to make sure it's written properly and we read it out word for word at the next meeting?
Yes. And that would be considered the first meeting?
The first reading, you mean?
The first meeting, maybe? Okay.
Are we saying the first reading the next meeting or this meeting?
This meeting.
I thought we were doing the first.
I think you had a motion and a second, so you probably have to call the roll, I think, tonight, right?
Yeah. We'd have to
That
vote.
would be the first reading, and then the second reading would be December, I think.
But we don't have a policy, how can we do the reading
We
first?
have a
I don't know.
We don't have a, usually you come in with a device, this is what I want, blah, 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 and then that's the first reading, the second one would be, I went like, policy 155, it was on and on and on until it got down. Maybe.
Ralph is right. Well, next meeting will be the first one.
I have a question, if I may. All right, as I'm seeing this, in other words, we have, again, to repeat, 3 and out, 7 June. The methodology, as far as another absence, another excused absence, and then the last piece is noticing to the board. I think is important because everybody has a cell phone. Every everybody has the ability to communicate now. To a point where I made a mistake early on when I was the president, is I was gonna call up, no, we have a board secretary, Kelvin, and he should be the conduit to the board with respect to any communications with attendance, absenteeism, or whatever. This way you know that you've done it properly and you get the proper distribution to all the members.
On that note, I'm gonna ask a question to everybody. Do you or do you not get a text from Kelvin to see if you're gonna be at the board meeting?
Yes.
I do.
I did.
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Alright, so he's already
Doing that.
on it. So we're not asking him to do anything differently. So he will know who's coming and where they're not coming.
I bring up the point that, so as far as noticing, yes, I always get a text.
But I'm thinking that whether we call him or it's him touching base with everybody to see if they're gonna be there.
Initially, him touching base, okay.
Sorry,
The
I can't make it
question is
louder.
With respect to the response, in other words, not 20 minutes before a meeting, there has to be some I understand fair
Alright, so
force.
then this can't be the first meeting, so
To look and see what other, other places do.
well, everybody has missed the 3 meetings.
Yes,
That's the
I
school boards
understand.
for the state.
Okay.
So everybody's got that, the definition of excuse, that's already out there.
Chronic absenteeism.
But to the point of notice, you got this all written down? Alright, so the other points that everybody's brought up, that needs, if you're gonna do it, so could you amend your motion to state, we're going to amend the we'll get a second, we're going to amend the policy for a first reading at the next meeting.
But why?
Am I drafting?
No, he's drafting.
Oh.
You're drafting.
What's the confusion? I don't
I
understand.
tell you, I
what the
delegate,
confusion is.
he's drafting.
Do you guys understand? what the
Calvin's
confusion is?
he's gonna add in, we talked about notice, adding in the 7 annual, 7 or more, annual. What am I missing? I'm missing something.
I mean, you're literally talking about half the year. Like, I don't understand
No,
the
excuse
year.
is in the policy already, so we need to reiterate that, the definition. Please.
And in the past, I don't know if this will apply, we'll do a draft and Strauss looks at it and makes.
He's gonna draft it, we'll do the first reading at the next meeting.
And Strauss will look at it and make the adjustment before we present.
So understand something, we're gonna have a different board in January. We can't hold that different board to this, if it's not a policy yet. Okay? Just understand, you can't do something to future boards. This was early in the year, we could do it. So if we don't do that first reading, it might not go through in January. I'm just making you aware.
It's not. The one that we reviewed is not, that I remember like talking about 24 hours notice and things like that, like how Claudia had mentioned. The only thing listed on the public facing policy site is about removal after 3 meetings are missed without good cause. And the term is without good cause, not stating excused or unexcused by anybody. So then we go back to what is cause. Is childcare cause, is getting stopped by a cop cause, like that is very ambiguous.
Check out.
So I will amend my motion that we need provisions. I would then immediately like to make a second motion that we also, I've lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me.
Alright,
It'll come back to me before we conclude.
Okay, so we still have a motion before we can go anywhere else. So let's vote on the fact that we're going to draft a new amendment to the policy.
Motion.
Well, no, you already motioned.
Okay.
You already seconded.
So that will be the first reading.
Next meeting.
Roll call to amend the board members' attendance policy.
Yeah.
Mr. Grippa?
Yes.
Mrs. Sarvaez?
Yes.
Mr. Boric?
Yes.
Mr. Custodius is absent. Ms. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Marilla?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Sounds good to me. Anything you want to add? No?
I
Okay.
didn't remember what I forgot, but I do have other new business I'd like to bring up.
Knock yourself out.
I'd like to motion we reopen public comments since the members of the audience have changed.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Can we get a motion to reopen public comment to question? Motion. Second.
Well, I made the motion, so you
Oh,
can
so
second
that's
it.
second. Sorry. I was up at 5. I've been tired. Yeah.
All in favor?
All in favor? Just say, everybody say aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Hi, sorry.
Brett Lovely hearing.
Seth, I know you're just sitting home doing nothing.
I've got nothing better to do. But I do miss you all when I don't see you. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Joanna Congleton Haley, 475 Abbott Avenue. I am the borough liaison from the mayor and council. So I want to talk first about a few borough events we have coming up. 4th grade is well underway for a phenomenal holiday concert at the tree lighting in early December. It's the first Wednesday evening. I've heard a preview because my 4th grader keeps singing the songs. They're going to be fantastic. We're looking forward to the collaboration between our recreation department, our mayor and council, and our schools for that event. We also have confirmed that there will be a Santa tour again with our fire department. The big man from the North Pole did call to our fire chiefs just about a week ago. As we get that information, we'll be sharing that with the community as well. Ridgefield Recreation Basketball Program. We are currently open for our basketball season for recreation and RBAO for spring baseball and softball. And we're looking forward to welcoming our RMHS scholar athletes and county and league awardees at our next mayor and council meeting in December. I'm going to be setting that up with our athletic director, Mr. Romeo, in the coming days. I would now like to speak to you as a parent and an educator and just make sure that the board is aware that in the state of New Jersey, chronic absenteeism is considered when a student hits 10% absenteeism in a 180-day schedule. So that's probably around 18 days. In the Ridgefield School District, a pupil with less than 150 days of attendance will not be promoted to the next grade level. That's approximately 83% attendance. So we're talking maybe 20% that students do not attend school, they can't be promoted. It's kind of difficult for me as a parent, speaking as a parent, to tell my children that they have to go to school 83% of the time when the board members who govern the policies that dictate the education of my children do not meet the same criteria. Disappointing. These are elected officials, I understand that. We are held to a different standard. But as a mother, it's hard for me to tell my kids, you have to go to school when the adults who govern what goes on in your school don't have to attend meetings. Have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
So, we have a motion to adjourn, close the meeting?
Motion
No,
to
or
close
public
public
comments.
comments.
I've written the right way here, go ahead. Motion to close public comments.
Motion.
Sorry.
Motion, first, second.
Got it.
In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and so now we
I'd
need.
like to make another new business motion. Could we also, since it doesn't stipulate in the current attendance policy, could we also specify, and see what Strauss Esme thinks, that attendance includes being present in person for executive session, as well as the vote on the established consent agenda. Because I know we take a lot of votes, but I have seen once or twice during I'm still in my first term, I've already seen twice where a member has shown up, attended executive session, participated in discussion from the presentations, and then had an emergency and left. And that affects our quorum. So under the same reasoning as to why we did away with the virtual, it doesn't make sense to count that person as here for the whole time if the bottom line is quorum is being affected. And it's still shady, in my opinion, of how it's being reported that the person is there when they're not there, and then they're suddenly marked absent for the consent agenda vote. So I believe, I would like to see present also defined as present for both executive session and the consent agenda vote, even if they step out of the room in between, as we currently have somebody out of the room.
Do you need a motion?
Oh, sure, I make a motion for all of that to be included in the draft.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs.
Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Wait, we have to vote on it.
You have to vote on that, adding that to the.
All in favor of.
All in favor of this, and then you have to take a roll call, right?
Happening at the same time here.
Roll call, 2 or 3 to not.
Thank you, Mr. Marilla.
So, there were motion saying all in favor. All voice vote is fine. Right? Voice
All
vote.
in favor?
Aye.
No, that would be a vote.
Roll call vote?
Yeah.
Roll call vote? Calvin, yeah.
Ellen should do it.
Mrs. Narvaez?
Agreed.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bory?
Yes.
Mr. Custodius is absent. Ms. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Marilla?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, try this again. Can I have a motion to adjourn?